Imagine a clock ticking down, not to midnight, but to a point of no return. I present to you the climate clock. It tells us that we have 4 years, 83 days, and 13 hours and 53 minutes before climate change is irreversible. How drastic is that? How crazy is that for your head to wrap around, that we have 4 years and 83 days left to breathe clean air, decently clean air, to put our feet in the sand at the beach and know that the sand is clean? Isn't it crazy to know that we have 4 years left to know that there will still be wildlife outside? There will still be insects, there will still be bees, there will still be birds flying around, there will still be fish in the water, there will still be plants, there will still be trees. In 4 years and 83 days, we are running the risk of losing all that. In less than 5 years. Can you believe that? Climate change is not just a theory, and it's not just something that we don't have to worry about, and it's not something that's far away anymore. It is something that we are thinking about, and we should be thinking about every day. It is something that is affecting us every single day. These drastic drops in weather and rises in weather, to glaciers melting, to extreme weather events, that's all just adding up. The amount of tornadoes and earthquakes that we face every year are drastic, way more than we've ever seen in history. Actually, there is nobody to blame but ourselves. Humans are the cause to the mass destructions that we see and that we face every day now. According to NASA, the Earth's surface temperature has risen 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century. That's over 200 years. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you put it into perspective, the faces or the issues that we've had last year was the hottest year on record, according to NASA. It is honestly the craziest thing in the world to believe, but all of that was driven largely by human production and human carbon dioxide that was caused by human made emissions. When you think about it, it's honestly just crazy, but we know about this. We know that the industry rose during the Industrial Revolution, and this was during that time. So all of this is happening while everything is booming for the economy. We're decreasing Earth's value. NASA reports that the Earth's average surface temperature rose about 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, a change that was largely driven by carbon dioxide. The last decade was the hottest year on record, and glaciers are retreating, sea levels are rising, and wildfires are becoming a lot more horrendous and outrageous than we've ever seen before, especially in California. Their wildfires were the craziest that they've ever seen since like 1970. According to the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel, we need to cut greenhouse emissions in half by 2030 in order to avoid the worst possible effects of climate change that we can possibly see. And I don't know about you, but that is not something I want to experience or something I want to see, especially from what we see in California, the tornadoes we see in North Carolina, South Carolina, and just all of that Midwest area. It's outrageous. And if you look into them, it's sickening to your stomach to look at. Especially in Hawaii, they have so many tsunamis and hurricanes. It's outrageous, and we have nobody to blame but ourselves. NASA's data shows that even when we try to reduce the amount of movement and production that we had in quarantine times and during the coronavirus in 2023, carbon dioxide levels actually in the atmosphere rose and were at their highest point with over 300 million years. Like with every problem, there's a solution, and it's not all doom and sadness. We can fight back and win and bring our Earth back to the state that it needs to be for our generation and future generations to come. And ways that we can do that is by having clean energy, by transferring fossil fuels into renewable energy like wind energy, solar energy, and hydropower energy is very essential. According to NASA as well, not only does renewable energy reduce emissions, but it also creates jobs, and it improves public health and reduces air pollution. So that improves our air quality and our health overall as human beings. Ways that we can help is by protecting our forests and sustaining to agricultural practices, which you can do at home, honestly. With the last video that I had for this speech, I was talking about growing your own vegetables and plants, especially through water, which is very easy, especially if you want to do it on your windowsill. But little things like that, or having your own garden, those all help with sustaining one, your health, but also the earth's health. On the topic of eating less meat can also help with our earth's production and forest productions as well, because people or farmers and production companies often need space to have animals and to grow animals. And with that being said, they need to cut trees and they need to reduce forest populations, which also reduce ecosystems to animals, birds, and plants that we love to see and love to have and love to, enjoy in our earth. So reducing the amount of meat that we eat, we're also reducing the amount of animals that are being sacrificed for ourselves, but we're also helping our planet that's also being sacrificed for our food. You know what I mean? Eating less meat would help with soil redistribution, and it'll make your soil a lot better, or the soil a lot better. But it also reduces greenhouse gas emissions, and it also reduces the amount of space and storage and forests that needs to be cut down for those animals to thrive and to be. Using public transportation will also help with greenhouse gas emissions, because if you didn't know, just a little fun fact, if you were to stick a car battery in a room and be in it, you would die because of the emissions that a gas battery has. But with that fact being said, if you put 1,000 or 2,000, just think of the earth. Think of how many cars are on this earth. I'm not even gonna say 2,000. Think of how many cars are on this earth, and think of all of their batteries. And that is our earth. We are sitting in a big ball of car battery, of greenhouse gas emissions. Think of all the fumes that are coming from those batteries that we are breathing in every single day. It's outrageous. That's our earth. Imagine our earth is breathing that in every single day. With that being said, though, it is up to our policymakers to make a change. It is up to us to influence those policymakers to make a change. And it is up to us to support green policies to make those changes that come from green policymakers. All of that being said, the action is honestly up to us. The change is up to us. The determination and the want is up to us. We can't influence the whole world, but if we can influence the few to make a change, we can influence the world over time.